Welcome to the From Death to Life podcast. This is Mario D'Artenzio, and the individual, the beautiful woman sitting next to me is
Carrie D'Artenzio. Hey, everybody. We're so glad you're with us. We're answering another question today, and we thank you for joining us. I hope that we have something to offer. Maybe a lot of you are feeling the way this friend of ours does. Would you read the question?
Right. Brian sent a message into us and says, I feel like I'm barely hanging on. Just small moments, small reasons. Is it okay if that's all I have right now? Those small moments, those small reasons are basically what he's saying is those are the things that are keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Dude, we appreciate the question. I mean, that's a heavy question. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Well, I want to say I'm glad you're alive, Brian, and thank you so much for reaching out. And I think it's really brave to ask that question, and I thank you for it because I'll tell you something. I know you're not the only one who's feeling like that.
Right.
There are so many people who are just barely hanging on.
And it's healthy to be feeling this way because you are here.
You're here. We're thankful for that. And without knowing your situation, I don't know how long you felt like that. I do know so many people feel like that. And usually it's a season. Usually it's not an entire life. I would say, we're not designed to live that way. That's not how God designed us. He designed us for joy and for love. So I hope that this is just a short season, but we want to talk about some ways to get through seasons like that and things that we know can help. I want to tell a quick story that I was thinking of while preparing for this podcast today. I went outside to water my tree that I planted in October, and I was reminded of something God showed me with this tree. Our daughter, Reese, died in January of 2025, and on her birthday last October, we planted a tree for her in our backyard, and it's a tree that attracts hummingbirds, and we planted it for her because she loved hummingbirds. And when they planted it, the nursery said, okay, I wrote down the instructions for how to nurture this tree through the winter and how to get it to blossom. And they said, water it for 45 minutes once a week in the winter. And then in April, start watering it twice a day. So I did that. Every Saturday, I would water it for 45 minutes. And in the middle of the winter, it lost every single leaf, every single sign of life. And it was just these sticks coming out of the ground. And some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's what happens in the winter. But if you live in Phoenix or California, you're like, no, that's not true. Most of our trees still maintain some sign of life, like a couple leaves here and there. Well, this had nothing. Absolutely, it was just sticks. And I was 100% sure it was dead, like 100% sure. And I thought, well, I'm going to call the nursery because they guarantee this. They'll give me my money back. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'll just continue through the winter. And when everything else blossoms, I can show them, see, this didn't blossom, but I watered it every day. I was sure it was dead. And, wanted to cut it down because it was just ugly, these sticks coming out of the ground. But then one day, about 3 weeks ago, there was a leaf. And then the next day, another leaf. And then the next day, another leaf. And it's now covered in leaves and has little buds of all these blossoms all over it. And I stood back and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, God, what do you want me to see here? Like, this feels significant. What do you want me to see? And I heard him say, like in my spirit, like, you thought you were dead, like when, when I've been in like the pit of the pit of the pit of grief, it felt like I was dying. Like I couldn't ever, part of me did die. But I kept watering. I kept doing the things that I knew were good for me. And for me, that's like walking every day, praying while I walk, reading the Bible, talking to friends. We started dancing and, the things that I know bring me life, I kept doing. And same with the tree. I kept watering it, even though it seemed dead. I thought it was dead, but I kept watering it. And then it just like is bursting forth. And I feel like God was saying to me, keep watering in seasons of sorrow, in difficult seasons, and something new will burst forth. And it reminded me of this verse. It's Psalm 126:5. It says, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. And the point is, like, keep doing the things, even when you're barely hanging on. Keep doing the healthiest things you know to do for your mind, for your body, for your spirit. And he says, you shall reap in joy. Sow in tears and reap in joy. So what are some things, Mario, that help you when you're barely hanging on? What are those healthy things that you keep doing even though you don't feel like it?
I think they're called anchors. I mean, there are things that we go to that, this is something that we tell people. We ask people all the time that reach out to us that are struggling with suicidal thoughts. What are the things in your life that bring you joy, that get you out of that funk that you're in, the heaviness that you're in?
Even the tiniest bit of joy. Like, what's one thing you do that just gives you the tiniest bit of joy?
Well, I mean, it can be a certain song.
Yeah.
Music, playing a song, step outside, just get outside, walk around,
touch
like you
grass.
said. Yeah. Take a shower, just break that funk. Hold something cold. I thought that was interesting. Hold something cold.
It interrupts the thought loops in your mind.
Yeah. Sit somewhere different than where you regularly sit. I was watching a video about Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey, I mean, I know this is kind of, it's not the same thing, but it kind of is. But when he was talking about when he was doing the movie The Grinch, and he couldn't wear the makeup. When they put the makeup on, he was so claustrophobic that he couldn't do it. And so Ron Howard, the director, hired like a Navy SEAL, and they were talking about what they do in like torture situations, times that that are very torturous, and what they do, what SEALs do, like in life and death situations. And it was interesting. I mean, they're very similar, like the anchors. It was like grab something cold, smoke a cigarette. I mean, we're not recommending that, but it's like get out of that rhythm. You're in that funk. You're going down that trail of, man, I'm just holding on. I'm just hanging on here. You got to reprogram your mind and jump off that trail and hit another one. And those are some of the things that you can do, even the smallest things, like listening to a song.
I will say, make sure they're healthy things.
Right.
So if you're like,
smoking is not a healthy thing.
If you're like, yes, what makes you feel great is drinking and smoking weed and smoking cigarettes. Like, no, you're going to create a bigger problem for yourself. Yeah. So no. So like, let's stay with healthy things. But it is true. Like if you want to change your mindset, you can change the position of your body. So like you said, go sit in a different place, go lift some weights.
Working out.
Like huge. It changes your mindset, and do things that bring you joy. Right. So like if there's a friend who you just enjoy talking to, just be like, I just need to talk for 3 minutes. Like talk to them, somebody, watch something funny, do something that makes you laugh. And then always like prayer and reading the Bible. Like, just do it, even if it's just for a few minutes. But these are the things you know will nourish your mind, body, and spirit. So continue to do them. Like, you don't have to do all of them. Choose one thing today.
Right.
And
Well, that's kind of like, it's like shrinking your timeline. I mean, we think we're all like these large, these huge sweeping generalizations. It's like, my life sucks, when you're just having a bad afternoon.
right.
It's shrink those, and then like look at the 10 minutes. Okay. And the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna have an anchor, and I'm gonna perform something. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna listen to a song. I'm gonna pray, like you said, read the Bible, read the Psalms, cry out to God, say it out
Mhm.
loud. I'm not okay right now. I am struggling.
Yep.
But take that 10 minutes and be in a very, very healthy place, and then repeat those 10 minutes during the day. Okay, man, you know what? I'm in a funk again. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? And instead of just saying, okay, my life sucks or my day sucks, just say, okay, it was just a couple minutes of my life. It was just a couple minutes of my day. It doesn't mean my whole day was horrible. And the more you get into that rhythm of being like, okay, for the first 10 minutes, I'm just going to repeat this every day. I'm going to repeat this every time I'm in a funk. I'm going to repeat doing something, an anchor, something healthy
Yeah.
of mine.
Maybe identify, make a list. Like, these are the
Yeah,
thing that bring
totally.
me joy. And I've done that
Right.
before, like made a list, like these things bring me joy. And
Healthy things. Remember
some of
that.
them are big things and some of them are little. Like I've made these lists, and, even little things like drinking kombucha. Like, I love drinking kombucha. Like,
Yeah, good
go,
for you. That's good for you.
allow yourself to have the little things that you enjoy. Big things would be, seeing my granddaughter. Like, there are big things, but there are little tiny things.
Right.
Giving, my husband or my kids a hug. Like, make a list. Like, these things bring me joy, and then look at your list and be like, I'm going to intentionally go do these today. Like, choose 3 of them and
Well, you
do
said
them.
it. You said it too. I think once we get our eyes off of ourselves and serving people, loving on people, reaching out to
It's
people,
huge.
talking to somebody that maybe somebody that is hurting.
And
right now.
what else has helped me is to, everybody says, oh, gratitude. It's so true. It's like a
Right.
secret for rewiring your brain. But like, write a thank you note. Like, think about somebody that you're grateful for, who's done something for you, or like anything tiny, big or little. Write them a thank you note or write them a thank you text. Like, it shifts your mind. A lot of times when we're in depression or in grief, by its nature, it's very self-centered. And I don't mean that in an accusatory way. It's just its nature.
Right.
And so how can you shift yourself out of that mode of thinking only about myself and my pain? Thank somebody for something little, something big.
Well, and another anchor could be reaching out to us.
Yep.
Text D2L at 91627. Go to our website. Speak to one of our peer support counselors.
Let somebody pour into you for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we get that all the time. When we've had people say, hey, my mom and dad wanted me to reach out to you guys because I'm struggling right now. The thing that you don't want to do is to stay in your head. You don't want to stay in your head. You want to be able to hold all of those thoughts captive.
Yes.
And be proactive with, okay, I don't want to stay here.
Yeah.
Because the fruit of me staying here means that I'm probably not going to be here. So you text somebody, you text us, you text a friend,
Mm-hmm.
like you've said, that understands us, that, will
And
encourage us.
Do want, like you said, take those thoughts captive. That is a Bible verse that I think, sometimes people might be like, oh, I've heard that a million times. And, or maybe you've never heard it, but taking your thoughts captive means like identifying those negative thoughts. Like, you probably have a negative thought loop if you are barely hanging on, and those thoughts they're there because you've practiced them.
Right.
and they're kind of like in the background now. Like people will say things like, I'm not good enough, or my life is horrible, or my life's not worth living. These are thoughts that you've practiced, and they're not true. Even they feel like they're true because you've practiced them so much that they run on autopilot now, because your brain is just, you've built this neural pathway and it just keeps going up and down that groove. You need to take it captive, meaning like take it prisoner. Like I'm locking this up. This thought is no longer allowed to have its way
It
here.
will not control me.
And I get to choose what I want to think about.
Right.
I'm going to choose the thought. And then when you practice a different thought, it actually will become easier and easier, and it will become the default thought. It's amazing the way our brain can rewire itself. Is well, not itself. You have to choose the thoughts on purpose.
Right.
And it will rewire based on what you choose to think about, which is fascinating. And we'll talk more about that another day. But
Well, and something else, I mean, you might have to do is release people in your life. There are some people that maybe, every time I'm around them, I drink and then I get into a horrible depression, or we start talking about people, or they're constantly negative,
or they're
and
putting me down and I feel
they're
worse
putting me
about
down.
myself.
We got to move on from those people.
You have
mean,
to
that's
choose healthy people
You
to be
must.
around,
You
Yeah.
must.
especially if you're barely hanging on. But we love you. We are so proud of you.
We're here for you.
We are here for you, and we're so glad that you reached out and that you are talking about it.
Right on. Yeah, it takes a lot to reach out to us and ask that question, Brian. So we appreciate you big time. If you have a question that you're dying to have answered, please reach out to us at 411@death2life.com. That's 411@death2life.com. And we'll try to answer it for you. If you're struggling right now and need some encouragement, if you need some hope, reach out to our website at death2life.com and check out all of our resources and talk to our peer support. And hopefully that will encourage you. But man, we really appreciate you guys listening today. Carrie, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. And I want to leave you with this. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Choose that new thought. Build a new pathway with that thought.
Right on. Have a great day. Love you guys.